Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of custom/manual object sizing and positioning on the screen based on portrait, landscape, view. If you're here and you just found this tutorial, go back, check out part 1. There's a link above there for you, help you out. But as you can see, we've got our button in the portrait view in the bottom left hand, and as we switch to landscape view, we've resized it, we've repositioned it manually custom on the screen. So that's what we're going to do. Again, go back, check out the old tutorial, the previous tutorial for kind of the setup stuff. And now what we're going to do is, now that we've established our outlet here, we've added the property to the outlets, we're going to go into the implementation and put that in place for our button and give it its position based on where we want it. So the first thing that we have to do, since we've added the property to the outlet, we have to synthesize that property. So synthesize the boom button, and there we go. The next thing that we have to do is we have to put in a method. So basically, if it's in the portrait view, the button's going to be here. If it isn't in the portrait view, in other words, else, if else, it's going to be positioned here, resized here. So we're going to simply put in void, and we're going to put in the method will animate rotation to interface orientation. So you can see it puts in all the information there for us. So the will animate rotation to interface orientation, UI interface orientation to interface. So basically you tab over and it gives you your default settings there. We're going to add a curly bracket, and at this point hit return, and this is where we're going to write our if then statement. So if to interface orientation equals UI interface orientation portrait, which is straight up and down, we want, close bracket, we want the boom button dot frame, so the where the button's going to be placed on the screen, equals the core graphics rectangular make. Okay, then it gives all these the CG float X, Y, width, height, and that's exactly what we want. So basically, as you look at the portrait view, if it's in the portrait view, we want the button to be positioned in the X coordinate here, positioned Y coordinate here, and then we're going to give it a width and a height. So we're going to fill those in just 1 second. Let's go ahead and write the else here. So if we, let's see, end our brackets there, then we're going to write in else, open our brackets. Looks like we've got one extra bracket there. The else is going to be if it's in any other position. So if it's in the landscape view, we want it to be this. So boom button dot frame equals core graphics rectangular make. Again, we're going to fill in these positions here. Okay, so we've got it set up. You can see we've got two errors because we haven't defined our float X, Y, width, height yet. So what we're going to do is go over to the sound button view controller, and we're going to take a look at where the position is, because this is where we want it when it's in the portrait view. So you can see we've got a 20, X is 20, 777, 241, 207. So we're going to fill that in for the portrait core graphics float. So we've got 20. Click there, 777. And again, this could be anything on the screen. You could define this as 600. You could define this at 50. And this is basically from the left of the screen, it's 20 pixels away. From the top of the screen, it's 777 pixels away. And then our width, we're just going to put in 241 as it's right now. And our height is 207. Okay, so that's our portrait view. Now, what we're going to do for the else, or the landscape view, is we're going to define X. Let's say we want it 300 pixels away from the left side. And then we want it 100 pixels away from the top. The width, we're going to make it smaller, so we're going to put it 80 pixels by 80 pixels. Okay, so we've established both the portrait, the landscape, and how the buttons are going to change. And again, you can do this for multiple buttons. So if you're going to do this for button 2, you would have to establish the outlet and your header, and then you would go boom button 2 dot frame, and give it its coordinates, or its core graphics coordinates there. Okay, since we've put in place our outlets, we have to release them, and we've retained them, so we've got to release them here. So self.boom button equals nil. And this is basically freeing up the memory. And then the other place is the void dealloc. So we're going to put in boom button release. And that's just memory management. If you're not familiar with that, go back and review some of the Objective-C memory management parts of application building. So we've got everything built. Let's go ahead and run it, see how it looks. Alright, so you can see based on the current portrait view, the button's going to be what we specified. So it's going to be 20 pixels away from the left, 777 from the top to the corner, and then it's going to have a width of 241 and a height of 207. Now as we flip the orientation of the landscape, you can see the button's moved and resized on the screen manually to what we've set the core graphic rectangular frame to. So again, we've got 300 pixels away from the left to the corner here, and 100 pixels from the top to the corner. And then we've resized the button as well, so it's 80 by 80. So it almost looks like your home screen on your iPad or your iPhone. So that is the basics to programming a manual custom positioning of your button or your objects on your screen, and definitely gives you a little bit more flexibility as you guys are building and optimizing for the iPhone, the iPad, etc. So it gives that user functionality a little bit better feel. Again, if you have any questions on this tutorial or want to learn something maybe a little bit off kilter, we'll try to help you out with that and go from there. So hopefully this tutorial helped, and peace out. We'll see you guys later.